some of the top pro players do that more than playing the actual game. Like, people sometimes ask if they should learn Hangul for GeoGuessr, and they're like...
Good morning, ReAnna. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good. How are you?
I am good, thank you very much. Did I pronounce your nickname correctly, ReAnna?
I came up with the nickname before I came up with well, I didn't really come up with a pronunciation. People are just saying it in certain ways, and I'm like, sure. So I don't know. I try not to say it myself because I don't want to impose a pronunciation on anyone.
You don't have a preference?
No, not really, no.
Okay. And how did you come up with that nickname?
I mean, it's kind of friends came up with it for me, I guess. Like, it evolved over time. Original inspiration was actually a Linkin Park remix album named Reanimation. That was, in the forum era of the internet. I started using that as my nickname.
Interesting. I don't know about this album. I know Linkin Park because I liked a few songs. I can't remember which ones in particular. I think the ones maybe that made them famous.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend the album in this day and age, but that's where it came from. I liked the word, I think, more than the album itself.
So that's how it stuck, and you just use that for your Twitch stream, YouTube, and whatever you're playing online.
Yeah.
Before we get started to talk about GeoGuessr a little bit, can you tell us a little bit more about your background? So who are you? What's your background? What are you doing when you're not playing GeoGuessr?
I am a programmer most of the day. So that's also why usually when I'm in a gaming community, I end up becoming a developer of like custom tools as well. And I've been playing GeoGuessr for 2 years, over 2 years, I think, which is pretty long by GeoGuessr standards. I started in the Battle Royale days and probably spent several hours a day on average since then.
Is it possible for you to share what kind of programming you do? Is it website, mobile applications, or a specific type of technology, or is it too specific?
No, I mostly have been doing... Everything has been basically web stuff. I mostly did JavaScript up until recently, so front-end applications. But currently I'm doing... Well, I can't say exactly what I'm doing, but I'm working in the Rust programming language, so I'm doing some more... it's still web related, but it's not like websites. It's people use it to build tooling and things like that for all the developers.
That's good. So you're working for the Secret Service in a mysterious country as a web developer.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Exactly.
All right, that's fair enough. Thank you for sharing a little bit. You mentioned you started playing GeoGuessr a couple of years ago. I'm always curious, how did you get started? How did you hear about it? Don't tell me it's the same answer as everybody else in my answer.
It's usually the same answer, but I actually found GeoWizard after I started playing GeoGuessr.
Good.
So already...
Good, we have a different answer.
Yeah.
What is your...
Already, I think in 2015 or something, I started very rarely playing it with a friend. We had we kind of both had our own little game, and then we would always play one of both, and one of us would win their specialty and the other one would win the other one. So it was kind of a cute way to play together. Usually we did like Wikipedia game and GeoGuessr, and then I won on the Wikipedia one, and he would win on GeoGuessr. About 2 years ago, I actually got started through a different person named Standplaats Krakau, who has quite a big Twitter presence, and would sometimes stream GeoGuessr. And he actually used to do mostly moving 25Ks, and he would... I remember one of the first streams I was in, he'd spend like 2 hours on an Indonesia round, and I was kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool. Which I think is not how most people start to enjoy the game, by the painful pinpointing, but yeah, that's where I got started.
Where do you end up today? What do you enjoy today? What are the kind of game modes that you enjoy particularly, or the one that you excel in?
I've had some different phases, because... like when Battle Royales came out, I was really into that. Most people were. So I had my time of like mostly wanting to play an NPC and playing very fast. But I've come back to mostly moving games. I think that's my specialty. I think lining things up and learning all the kind of those concrete things that you need to use in moving games, that works really well for me. And I think it's very satisfying, more satisfying than clicking nearby in a no-move game.
So just to be specific, you like to pinpoint, right?
Yes.
To be very specific.
Yes.
Right. So moving enough and then to be able to pinpoint as quickly as possible the exact location.
Yeah.
Do you have some countries that you prefer, or other countries that you know that you need to be to practice a bit more?
I'm fairly well known, I think, for having a strong preference for South Korea. I would say I'm like one of the few people in the community who's actually good at moving games in South Korea, because it's like...
And why is that? I was surprised too. And I thought initially when I first heard that you were actually South Korean for some reason. I don't know, because I only see your avatar and the Rainbow tournaments you were joining a few times, and they always said that. And I never understood why, and I thought maybe it's because you're from South Korea, until I realized after chatting with you a bit that probably you were not. So how come?
No, the closest I've been to South Korea is Finland, and it's just because it's like in northern Finland, like you go over the pole and it's closest to almost anything in the northern hemisphere. I mean, I have kind of a casual interest in Korea just from like K-pop and like Korean dramas. Well, I say casual, but then I did like kind of start learning the language. But I think the language is really cool. I think that's now more of a thing that made me interested in it for GeoGuessr. I think the Korean script is the best one. So yeah, and in Korea it is fun because it's kind of hard. It's like people who get like good at Mongolia, for example. Like Mongolia is, I mean, there's very little info in every round, so you just have to learn everything. And that's what kind of makes it both hard and also doable enough to actually learn it. And with Korea, there's like too much coverage to actually learn it all. But there's a lot of, for moving games, you can learn a lot and actually get very good at it with all the phone codes, with the road numbering, with like just learning places, I mean, there's some other clues that you can use. Yeah.
Do you know how to read Hangul, so the Korean language, or do you also know how to speak it? Did you try to actually learn it as a second language?
I've learned some basics, but it's not like I can't like follow a conversation even, you know, like and I definitely can't speak it, but I do read it fairly fast, so that's good in GeoGuessr. People sometimes ask if they should learn Hangul for GeoGuessr, and I'm like, I mean, sometimes it can be useful, but it's most useful when you're fast at it, because it's a bit different than some other scripts, because if you learn Thai or if you learn Bengali, there's always a consistent place where you know, okay, if I look here, then this will be an address. And in Korea, that's not really the case. In Korea, you need to read everything, and there might be a city name somewhere.
Interesting. I guess what you're referring to here in Bangladesh, if I'm not mistaken, you have often the address on storefronts, on the shop fronts.
Yeah, in Bangladesh,
that's what you're saying, right?
Storefronts. Thailand has, has like school signs and the waystones by the side of the road. Let's say the province in Thai. And Korea doesn't, I mean, it has some of that, but it's quite rare. More often it's in random places.
Is there any other country or language you're trying to practice right now? Some secret preparation?
I guess not actively, but I want to do more Bengali and Thai. I can like kind of decipher some Bengali, but I haven't actually sat down to practice it. That's just from playing. I mean, like, hey, I've seen this kind of shape before.
What about the elephant in the room? I'm talking about Cyrillic.
Yes. I mean, Cyrillic for a moving player, Cyrillic is a given. You can't play moving if you don't know Cyrillic. Thailand has English, but Russia doesn't.
So what about your expertise in Cyrillic? Where are you standing on that?
I mean, yeah, like that's a Hangul. I guess I already kind of knew before, but Cyrillic is the one that I learned for GeoGuessr, and that's I started pretty early on that because I did want to be a moving player.
So you do know Cyrillic?
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Give me a rundown of everything you know, because you're just giving me all the skills one by one, and as I'm discovering, you're more amazing at every question I'm asking. So to make it easier, what other languages you master? So Hangul, Cyrillic, you want to learn Bengali and Thai.
Yeah.
Obviously you speak English. Do you speak any other languages?
I speak my native language, which people can derive from... It's a bit silly to be this mysterious about it, but it's also a bit funny, I think, so I'll keep it up.
People can check your stream out. You'll have the links to your Twitch stream and YouTube channel in the description of this video, so they can check out more and to know more about your native language. Go ahead. Other languages?
But not really. Like, I can like understand German, but I mean, I can probably hold a basic conversation in German, but whenever I'm in Germany and I try to like speak German to people, they reply in English. So I think it's not that good. Yeah.
Do you have any method when it comes to playing GeoGuessr? Do you have anything that you jot down, you write down, or you code maybe to make you practice? I'm just curious. It seems everyone's relying on their brains, and every pro player I'm asking seems to have a very well-shaped brain to memorize everything. And probably they practice also regularly enough that it keeps being entertained and they don't have to forget too many things. But do you have any system in place? Or if not, what would you recommend for a new player to do to start playing? Because today can be a bit daunting when you see so many pro players and people keep getting better and better because you have very good guides on the internet to help you learn a few things. How does one get started today if you're not using maybe a method that you can share with others? What would be your advice here?
Yeah, I mean, I did get started with the, with the YouTube tutorials that we had back then, explaining this bollard is here and this bollard is here. So I don't know if that's still a good start today because the level is quite a bit higher, and even like entry-level resources nowadays have a lot more information. So I'm not sure what the best way to go about that is. For me personally, the stuff that really sticks is simple memorization, I call it. Like it's not actually necessarily simple or easy, but that stuff really works for me. So I have like Anki decks, like the spaced repetition, so that you can really, I mean, that's just a really good way to memorize things.
So Anki decks, for those who are not familiar, Anki is this open source software, right? Which allows you to do flashcards.
Yeah, it's flashcards, and it times it so that it's more or less optimal for your brain to start remembering that stuff. But I mostly use that for like provinces, for maybe for license plates or something in the US I could do it. But that's not really, I think, the best way to go about learning like landscapes or stuff, something like that. But I think that's the main like actually targeted practice that I do.
Do you know how many cards you have in your system?
I have an Anki deck that is just links to quizzes. So I have, for example, links to Emily's Indonesia Regency quizzes. I have links to like a bunch of Sporkle phone code quizzes, and then I used Anki for the spaced repetition. But I actually have the quizzes on just found on the internet. But that's kind of a fun. Fun. I think it's fun. A lot of people probably find that less fun. But that's, I think, that kind of integrates Anki's like kind of discipline and memorization strategy with external resources.
I did this a few months ago. I created my own little web app because I struggle with Anki not being on the web. I wanted something that I could use on the go. So I did something very simple, a flashcard system as a web app. But I realized that over time I was struggling to get back to it. I did it a bit. I used it a bit. I got some feedback from people who were using it. But I struggled to get back to it as opposed to just playing games and different maps or different game modes, or also just having fun, not always making it a competitive thing of thinking, I'm never going to be number one. Like my brain's too old now. I'm very competitive though. So I keep practicing and keep trying to play, but I recognize I'm not going to make it to number one or the very, very top. So I'm also trying to balance the fun aspect, but I struggle to go back, even though I'm very organized and methodical in my daily life, in my professional life. I struggle to go back to my flashcards. Yeah. It's been months I haven't gone back to it.
I will say for other stuff, for like learning landscapes, I think like the stuff that isn't just rote memorization, kind of the key strategy that people can use is just looking at coverage. And I think that's a little less common now than it was like last year. You just like if you've made a guess and you were wrong, you open the street view on both places at the same time and you kind of look around, and you don't even really need to necessarily pick out specifics of what's different, but that's a way that you can kind of learn regional vibes basically. And if you do that for certain small countries, then you can just learn the entire country by looking at it on Google Maps. And I think some of the top pro players do that more than playing the actual game. Like they'll just be looking at Google Maps and be like, okay, this looks like this looks like this, and then when you get it in the game, you already know it, even though you've never seen it in GeoGuessr before.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it Steek who learned all the roads in Albania or something like this?
Yeah.
I think so. I saw a video like a couple of months ago. I was just amazed. I think I watched the video 2 times, just how amazing it was.
I mean, Albania is like a pretty ambitious country to do that with, because it does have quite a bit of coverage. But if you're, for example, Jordan, I mean, most people learn Jordan just by playing, because it's so few. But Kyrgyzstan is a good example that you can just learn by looking at the coverage for a bit.
Let's talk about your streaming experience. You have a YouTube channel, you have a Twitch handle and stream. You have about 1,000 followers on each. How's that experience? What is it that you're trying to get out of that experience in streaming, and how has it been so far?
I mostly just do it for friends. I don't know if I ever had any other goal with it. I started. I was playing for 6 months or something. That was still when everyone was just playing Battle Royale countries. So I started doing like no microphone, just play the game streams, and then I have like 6 or 7 people that I knew from Twitch who would like stop by and chat a bit. For me, that's kind of the fun of it. I tried for like a few weeks to kind of on YouTube be a little bit strategic about like when I upload and the kind of things that I upload. But well, it's fun once to get 10k views on a South Korea speedrun. But then, you know, once you have that, it's like, okay, do I need another 10k views on my next video? It turns out I don't really care. So now I'm just uploading. I mostly just upload moving tournament games now, and whenever I get a good speedrun, I'll also upload it. But yeah, it's not really strategic. On Twitch, I'll just stream whenever I have something as well, which is not very often.
It seems you have a very relaxed and fun and humble approach. I say humble because I noticed in your Twitch profile, I don't know if you remember, but you have a sentence written where you say you don't accept payments or subscriptions because while you appreciate the potential gesture, you wrote that you believe other streamers can do more with people's support. And I found this very unusual and very nice that you actually thought of that. Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I feel a bit bad for taking people's money because I have a pretty good job. So I'm like, if I look at most other people in the community, it kind of feels like I should be the one to support rather than the other way around. It's not like I'm super rich, you know. It's not like that. But you know, as a developer, you do make I make enough money to, you know, have an apartment and do fun stuff as well.
And have a pro subscription on GeoGuessr.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about the game still, is there anything you'd like to see in terms of features, or features that you don't like, or features that you'd like to see developed for the game itself?
I really just like the core game.
So the core game for you is a map, 5 rounds, and just guessing where it is.
The classic style of you just get a few locations and you click where it is. I think sometimes the GeoGuessr developers kind of degrade the core game by trying to appeal to more new players, which I don't know if that's the best strategy. And like the one thing that I really want from the developers is to fix the liked maps page. I've been asking for it for years. It never happens.
To fix which page?
The liked maps.
The liked maps. What do you not like about it?
It's just not ordered. So if you like, I think I have maybe 60 liked maps or something, but it's just impossible to find any of them. Like if you go to the like maps page, I think it's actually ordered by map ID, which is not very useful because you don't see that anywhere. No, it's kind of a small thing in a way, but it's frustrating because it's been so many years. I don't remember it ever working, but that's my number one want, to fix the like maps page.
I know the GeoGuessr team is watching some of these videos, so I'm gonna tweet at them and tell them, listen to your pro players. This is a small thing. Just change the SQL query, whatever it is you're doing, as a backend. So at least order this alphabetically, not by ID, or offer some sorting options. Right? This is what you want.
Yeah, sorting would be ideal. But other than that, like, I mean, some pro players really dislike the visual appeal that I try to go for, but I don't, you know. As long as I can click my 5 locations on the map, I don't really care what else happens.
We get to that part of the interview where I have prepared a set of thematic interviews. I'm going to let you choose
Okay.
I'm only going to give you the titles of a series of 10 questions. I know it seems like a lot, but I'm expecting you to just answer rapidly. You can elaborate, obviously, as much as you want. You can skip questions if you don't feel comfortable with them, but they're not meant to be necessarily serious. You can actually answer in a crazy way or in a fun way. It is the point of the thematic interview. So I'm going to make you choose between interview theme number 1, which is if I were ... Another one I'm going to submit to you is the rubbish interview. That's the title I gave to that interview set.
Okay.
I have another one which is called Judgment Day. And I have another one which is called Neither Yes Nor No. Neither Yes Nor No. And finally, Beliefs.
Maybe I'll try if I were then.
All right, let's do this one. So are you ready for the if I were interview?
I think so.
Question number 1. What is your answer to if you were the CEO of GeoGuessr?
I would fix the liked maps page.
Why am I not surprised?
I would also, this is also a little tip for the GeoGuessr developers, I would fully commit to the avatars because, it's been kept in limbo for so long. I think people wouldn't hate them as much if they would just been forced to get an avatar immediately and not have the profile pictures anymore. That's my most controversial GeoGuessr opinion.
For everyone to get an avatar and just get a default one?
Just...
remove the old profile
no
photos?
profile pictures anymore. Yeah, if
Okay.
they want to get rid of it, but they have been, they've been delaying it for like over a year now. Just commit.
I know because I've kept my profile photo. I did not change to an avatar.
I've also kept my profile picture, so it's like
I know exactly what you mean.
But,
all right, good answer. Good answer. Question number 2. What if you were a beginner at GeoGuessr? What would you do?
I would hang out in Twitch streams a lot, which is what I also did when I was a beginner 2 years ago, and find fun people to play with because that keeps you motivated. You don't have to play to stay motivated to become good, of course. You can, but if you have fun people to play with, you don't necessarily need to get better all the time. You can just have fun.
Any recommended Twitch streams or YouTube channels that you have in mind beyond yours?
That I don't know because I don't usually. AussieGolfer, of course. Actually, I do know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Dan, right? AussieGolfer.
Yes. Aussie Dan
Okay.
Golfer. The superstar from Down Under. Yes.
Sounds good. I'll put the link in the description. I interviewed him also a few weeks ago. He's a great guy. Very, very
That was
humble
my favorite interview. He was so sweet.
Question number 3. What if you were Trevor Rainbolt? What would you do?
I would pick South Korea as my next country to travel.
Okay, that's a good answer. What if you were the CEO of YouTube?
I don't know what I'd do.
What if you were the head of Street View?
Of Street View? Oh, I'd dude, I'd go to all the African countries. At least as much as possible. Like sometimes there's there's political issues or whatever, but yeah, Africa needs more Street View.
I agree. I think it would be fascinating. We have about 10 countries now, and there's about 49 or 50 countries in Africa. So
yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, imagine Algeria, Morocco, Ethiopia. There's so many beautiful places.
Have you ever been to the African continent?
No,
in person?
I haven't.
Okay.
I left Europe for the first time this year for a
Where did you
work
go?
trip to the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you keen on traveling to other parts of the world?
Like a little bit. I'm more interested
Okay.
in the journeys than the destinations. So I like to do train trips.
Nice.
So it doesn't really matter where I end up going. It's more like I want to try out all the cool trains that there are.
If you haven't visited, you should come to my country, Switzerland, right? Because
Yeah,
we have a very, very well functioning train system. I just love it.
Yeah.
I'm too.
I've been through Switzerland. I haven't yet gone on all the cool mountain railway things, but that's
Glacier
definitely on the
Express
bucket list for sure.
Okay, nice. All right. What if you were the CEO of TikTok?
I don't think I have an opinion on that either. I'm not a TikTok user.
Same. Me neither. I'm too old, I guess.
Yeah.
Although I know what it is, thankfully. All right. Question number, 7. What if you were the president of the United States?
I would stop invading countries.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
What if you were an extraterrestrial being or an alien? What if you were an extraterrestrial being?
Do I
what
get
would
to
you say? What would
choose
you
my
do?
home planet? I don't know. What do extraterrestrial beings do? I guess I get to decide, but I mean, maybe I'd play like Mars Guesser or something. Yeah.
I love that one. That's a nice one. Last question. And I think I know the answer what you're going to say. What if you were a transportation vehicle? And I'm not joking. This is the question I had here. I'm actually reading through my list. It's a complete coincidence.
I would. I don't think my personality is necessarily suited for it, but I would have to go and be a maglev train.
Why do you say your personality is not suited for it in terms of the speed?
Yeah. I'm a little too calm and and slow maybe, but I think maglev trains are very cool, and I would like to see them become real. So, I mean, technically they are real, but not
widespread. You mean
not widespread?
In a sense, yeah. I agree. I've been lucky enough to go in one, which was the one in Shanghai. I think they had like 50 kilometers.
Yeah, I think that's like the only one that's actively.
Yeah, with the speed that is shown inside, it's just insane, going up to 500 kilometers per hour. That's just mind-boggling. So nice answer. And that's it. That's it for the If I Were interview. You succeeded in that interview with very interesting and funny answers. So thank you very much.
I'm glad.
All right. Any final few words you would have for people watching this to wrap up this interview? Any final few words for the community or in general?
I think it's important to have fun with the game, learn what you like. If you like antennas on Google cars, then feel free. Even if you like the USA, you can learn that if you want. It's fine.
Just pick something and have fun, right? And go into that in that space.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. It was great to get to know you a little bit better. Thank you again for your time.